Ki khubor ka Batesi TV.
Ka umdi basnyambak penjasliang. Rupa Premium Meghalaya.
Bu Menteri Rangba Kejala ukon rat ke sangma ha kalai pautrik ukala lingkot arajar arpsan ula pentep baka jingti Dewïong katkum ke juk start sayan ha Meghalaya shen country kamno Hadien baka sorkar pedeng kala a Jingmynjur yaki laingot ki nokti Dewïong na kani Kejala Meghalaya. Ha kejikaran bagila patai kubor ukon rat sangma ulaong balai teli ki escrow agreement ladap yasoi ha pedeng u controller of coal ka sorkar India bat ya ka project proponent na kabenta ki parti Dewïong ha pendeng Shalang West Khasi Hills saring kham ha East Jaintia Hills bat ha lom yakhi wa sarang ha East Jaintia Hills.
Great, I'm happy to announce and inform all of you, which I tweeted last night, that we have now got the final approval to open the mines. So now the miners are free to, these 3 miners can open the mines and start their mining whenever they want. They can start tonight, they can start tomorrow, it's up to them. Yes, because people ask, what's happened to the coal mines? So we have to answer back. So one, you may say it's a gimmick, but then it's a reply we have to give back to the people. Now, from our point of view, even yesterday, as I said, you can see from the press conference that was held there, and the updates that I've put, that all the necessary permissions now have been given, and now the concerned individuals who have got the permissions to start the mining can start today, tomorrow, day after, next week, anytime they want. So I repeat again that this entire procedure was very, very, very tedious and very, very complicated, and was highly challenging for us. Previous governments could not decide on how to move forward, with due respect. I'm not trying to say they didn't do anything. It was a difficult decision, to be very frank. But we decided to, in a way, bite the bullet. And we went ahead and we challenged the Supreme Court. We got the stay. We got the ban lifted. After that was done, again repeat, we had to go to Coal Ministry to create special provisions to allow, mines owned by our people to be then mined, and licenses and permissions to be given. So complete new SOP had to be prepared specifically for Meghalaya. Once that was done, then after that the necessary permissions from multiple departments and ministries of Government of India and state and central agencies and state government had to be taken, maybe 20-30 of them. And this was being done for the first time. So in every ministry, every central agency, state government, some hurdle, some question, some clarification used to keep come up because it never happened. So all of this took more time than one could imagine. So now, as I said, final thing with the Coal Ministry we had gone, with all the necessary permissions from all the different agencies and departments. And this is what has been now placed in front of the ministry. And that is what yesterday we got the clearance. As I said, now the miners are free to start. Miners means these 3 miners, not anybody else. These 3 miners who have received the clearance can start mining. So now it's up to them when they want to start the mining.
So is it open cast mining?
Yeah, so it's a technology. Each one has submitted their mining plans. I don't have the details with me, so I don't want to be misquoted. So they have put in their mining plans. I don't know what the technical aspect of the mining plan is, but that mining plan again has been vetted by the central agencies and by Coal Ministry, and have agreed in those particular circumstances where these particular mines are to use that particular technology and mining plan which has been proposed by the miners. So now all the clearances have been given, and as I said, now the miners, they can start their mining as per the mining plan. On the government side, that's exactly what we have been working towards. I reiterate that from the beginning, when this entire issue of coal ban took place, one had to realize, and I again repeat myself, that even when the decision was made, it should have been just and fair and transition based. You cannot stop a process of mining that has been going on for the last 2 centuries and expect people just to stop what they've been doing for their livelihood for past 100 years, 200 years. So therefore, while a process had to be adopted, the agencies that had banned the mine that time should have approached by the process of allowing the people to adapt and given them a time to transit into a cleaner process, and given them options. Now, this is something that is, so from government point of view, it's very clear. So you either you provide the miners the necessary permissions and the process through which they can legally mine, or you will find people they've been doing what they've been doing for 200 years, and suddenly you take away their livelihood. So obviously there's going to be reaction. So it's natural, but obviously as a government, since the decisions were made by different agencies, we had to be very strict and implement a lot of provisions. But as I said, when thousands and lakhs of people's livelihood is dependent, obviously it takes time, and there is a lot of concern, and it's difficult to, as I said, to tell people that don't do what you've been doing for 100 years, 200 years for your livelihood, and you snatch away their livelihood. So it's not easy. So point being that it was a very difficult phase. And in those difficult phases, we saw, sometimes there would be some cases, some situations would come up, some cases of illegal mining could have been there. These are processes. Wherever we saw it, we stopped it, we took action. But as I said, to completely put a stop to everything is not easy, because people were doing it for 100 years. That's why, again, I repeat. So it had to be really, handled with a lot of care, a lot of push had to be put into ensuring that government would clear our files, a lot of meetings with central government agencies and ministry. So it has been very tough. So now we are hopeful. We are hopeful that with this happening, that we will now see things smoothen out. We will see things now come to normalcy. Nobody wants to follow the illegal way. Nobody. Even the miners don't want to do it. But as I said, since their choice was not there earlier, provisions were not there earlier, for their livelihood, they would find some way or the other to sustain their livelihood. And, and it was kind of a difficult situation for them and for us also. But as I said, now that we have come to this point where the licenses have been given and the clearances have been given for 3 miners, and they can start their mining even, as I said, as early as tomorrow, day after, provided they follow the provisions in their mining plan. I'm hopeful that this will be the beginning of us seeing the entire sector become more regulated and more systematic, and all activities which are not proper will see things decrease and hopefully close down all kind of illegal aspects in the coming days.
Mining is feasible in a state like Meghalaya, sir?
As I said, I don't want to comment on whether it's open cast or what kind of technology is being used, because every mine, every location will have a different mining plan, and they'll have to go in a scientific manner, and they will have to take the approval of the competent agencies identified by Government of India to approve their mining plan. What I'm saying is that whatever has been approved and whatever will be implemented will be scientific, number one, will be with the approval and stamp of central agencies and Government of India, and therefore it's going to be as per the norms and as per the scientific provisions that are laid down by expert agencies as well as Government of India.
The state government is cooperating, however, when it comes to implementation, they still lag far behind. Like there's not that immediate where you see, and this committee has going on for quite a while now.
Yeah. No, now that the scientific mining has started, as I said, now the process of regularizing things and smoothing things will happen now. These activities, you have to understand, it's not that we are in a small area looking at few people. These are very, very disconnected areas, locations. Satellites give us certain intel on what's happening, but to be able to actually at the ground find out, we need thousands of manpower and all different kind of support structure and machinery. So it was a challenge. But as I said, now that the entire aspect of scientific mining has come in, so therefore those issues, hopefully, as we move along, will disappear or will reduce, and we will see more regulated as well as proper scientific mining taking place now. Difficult to say because really we don't know what kind of productions will take place. But going by the past records, the non-tax revenue from royalty used to touch anything between 500-600 crores to even sometimes 800-900 crores a year. So we do expect that it should be at that level or higher, but I think it will be too early for me to comment on that. Let's see how it goes, because it's a scientific production, and there could be some limitations. It could take time for them to reach optimum production levels. So we really don't know how things will go. So let us wait and see. But I gave you the numbers which was there in the past. So I'm hoping it should be at that level or maybe even higher.
The coal that is being extracted through this scientific mining, can these three miners sell the coal on their own, or it has to be auctioned by Coal India?
No, they'll sell it on their own. It's their mine. It's their coal. They can sell on their own.
So how can the government make sure that the coal that has been extracted by these three miners and the coal that has been extracted illegally will not be mixed up in the same depot?
Of course, the mines that are there, the paperwork and all will be kept. And of course, we will have people and mechanisms to see the mines and what is being extracted out there, and the vehicles taking out. All of this will be monitored in a very close manner, because there are specific mines. These are not like, again, individual small mines in different parts of things. It's in a centralized location. It will be a very large mine. These are 100 hectares and above mines. So therefore, it is easier for us to monitor these things. So therefore, I expect that we will be able to, because again, that's again a loss of revenue for the state government. So it's in the interest of the state government to ensure that we are able to monitor, that we do monitor these kind of locations, and which I expect that will be far easier compared to the past, because in the past there were many mines all in small locations, but these are 100 hectares plus mines in a specific location, which will make it easier for government. The entry and exit of these things will be very clear. So I do expect that it will be much easier for us to monitor these things.
So how many more applications are pending for approval by the
I
Ministry of
don't
Coal?
remember the exact number, but I know it's in double digits. I think 12 to 15 maybe are there right now, which I hope will also now follow, because the first one was the more difficult one. Now that we have learned the process, I expect that the next ones will be slightly smoother. There is a concept called just transition, which means justified transition. Now, if you were to look at climate change and CO2 emission, so NGT ban is like telling India that you have to cut down today itself 50% of your emissions, or else we'll not give you any more aid, or we'll not give you this. You have to stop all these kind of things. You can't do that. You can't do that. You have to tell India, like, look, we expect you to do 10% lesser by first year. Second year, we expect maybe 20%. Third year, we expect 20%. And by 10th year, you have to stop it. So that's what called justified transition. And that's the concept which I personally feel should have been put out here, where the ban should have been said, there is a ban that we propose because this is unscientific, it is affecting the environment, and it affects other aspects of safety of miners. And hence, there are these steps in this mining procedure. This must stop today. But because of the livelihood and the transition period that is required to be given to the miners, will allow this particular practice to continue for 2 years. And then this one for another 2 years. But by the 10th year, there will be a complete ban on the mining of using the rat hole mining or whatever other mechanisms. That is what should have been done, is what I'm saying. So when you completely cut off some procedure which has been followed for 200 years, and suddenly you come up and just say, well, what you did in 200 years was not correct, so you cannot do it from tomorrow. I feel it's unfair. And therefore the right way to do this was to have, as I said, a justified transition. We call it just transition, is what I'm trying to say.
Why the government did not appeal? Whichever government? Why?
I don't know, but I appealed. Exactly, that's what I did. In 2019, I was the one who filed the case in the Supreme Court. Exactly, you're right. Why didn't appeal? I also want to ask a question, but again, it will be political if I go into those angles. I don't know why they didn't do it.
So
but we did it in 2019. As soon as we came in, we of course took some time to understand, to be sure that we want to go in with this. And then when this tough decision came in front of me, it said that, look, there's a chance you could lose this case. And if you lose this case, then it'll be more complicated. So we went through all the pros and cons. We went through all the aspects. We discussed with many legal experts. And then the decision was up to me to decide as Chief Minister whether we will go and challenge this in Supreme Court. And I said, look, whatever was done was incorrect. Let's go and challenge this. And that decision was very tough, let me tell you. It wasn't easy. So it looks very easy now, and a lot of people question time and zooming. I understand. But it was not easy when that moment was there, when we didn't know what was going to happen in the court case, how this would unfold in the coming years? Am I going to be making things more complicated? And what if Supreme Court, stamps the ban and it becomes even more difficult for us to come out of it? I had to take a tough call, and then we took the call that whatever it may be, let's go and challenge this. From a legal point of view, looks like we are in strong grounds. We took that challenge, we decided, and we went ahead, and that's why the ban was lifted. So therefore, the ban was lifted based on that. But then Supreme Court then mentioned that while you have the ban lifted, you still have to follow a scientific way of extracting in the future, and that's what we started doing by starting the procedure with talks with Government of India, that we want to have a procedure for us to have scientific mining. Now, the challenge we faced in Meghalaya was the land holding systems were different from the rest of the country. So where there were the land holding systems the Government of India had for the rest of the states, where the land in the mines are owned by the government of that state, in Meghalaya it was different. So when we went and applied, they said there is no provision for private mines to be given and things. So we had to create new provisions for Meghalaya, and that took us many months. And again, countered applications to be put, more rules to be put. So it was a very challenging procedure, which is difficult to explain in one press conference. I'll take some time one of these days to have your favorite press CM Connect with press of 4 hours, as always. This time we'll do it. So you're right. We are also concerned about the smaller miners. But as I said, we were at a crossroad where we had to move forward in discussion with Government of India, and we were not in a position to bargain too much. We were already bargaining that, look, the land holding system is different in Meghalaya, and hence the private mines have to be given this. Government of India said it's not possible because it can't be done. Why would we go into private mines? But then we had to explain that is how systems work in Meghalaya, and that's how the land holding system is, and we have to move forward in that. My point being that there were too many conditions and too many areas which were of great importance, and we had to move forward. And hence, I did not have the luxury to bargain with Government of India on too many fronts. So when this issue came out of 100 hectare, when I opened the subject, this 100 hectare is again a norm throughout the country and the Government of India's policy. Now coming up with a provision and reducing it to 10 acres was another bargaining point which I had to do with Government of India, which I felt that if I push for that and I push too many things, maybe nothing will go through. So let me first push this 100 hectare and not go too hard a bargain. And then once this happens, then place my case at a second level, saying that 90% of our miners are small miners. We need to amend this 100 and remove 1 0 maybe, or remove 2 zeros. So we are doing it. So it was a decision again I had to take, where I had to decide at that point in time, by putting too many conditions, am I jeopardizing the process and making it more complicated for Government of India to reach to a decision? And shall I go for the 100 at least first and then work on something? So we decided, after talking to all the officials and Delhi, of course, and doing some back channel discussions, we took a decision that no, let's not be too much aggressive here. Let's at least start the process of mining. At least let few miners get the license. And then let's continue our work process and try to get the smaller miners. So it was a very difficult decision. But the hindsight, I think we did the right thing. We are at least now at that point where at least mining is now open. Scientific process has started, and 3 miners now have got the permission to start their mines. Now the next step for me is to get the smaller miners also on board.
Kapor kala day, bapinjit yaki MDC jongpi Shaka Khasi Hills Autonomous District Council, but ka Giant Hills Autonomous District Council. Ayu kinle lada ki job ke ay katong kabakidon ki ay kiman kibakongsan kibakibu akman kita kide ki jingkeli kibafidon kam man yo ya kejubab haswa bapin lek man tap ya vote jongpi haka arpuway tarik urampang arajar arpsan. Baik ya ka program markman pat ki kertong